Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again. I have a lot to say this morning, and I know that I already discussed immigration just a couple of weeks ago, but we are approaching the midnight hour in this midterm election. We just got under 2 weeks to go till election day, and it's an exciting time. And there's a lot of rhetoric on both sides going back and forth, people trying to sway votes one way or another, and immigration has become a big issue, and that's because the president is trying to keep it in the news. But it's not something artificial made up. It's not a subject that he is trying to deliberately be polarizing over. We really do have immigration issues, and the issue has exhibited itself in a meaningful way. This past week, there's been a caravan that has been approaching the border from, I believe it originated in Honduras, and it's gone through Guatemala and is now going through Mexico. Last I heard, it was about 1,000 miles away. It's probably closer. A lot of the people are on foot, but I have watched some of the videos, and there are people like on flatbed trucks. And I'm going to go to that into that in more detail in just a minute. But you can see the situation. It's, if I haven't said so already, it's not just people. As in more than one. It's like thousands of people. Estimates are at 4,000. I've seen some as high as 7,000, but let's just say 4,000. That's a lot of people. When they get to the border, where are all these people going, right? Think about how that may affect us, and I'll come back to it momentarily. But there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about as far as immigration goes, even before, the elections season heated up a couple of weeks ago, and I missed it, so I'm going to address it now. I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail about these two friends that I have discussed immigration with. One was a more, shall I say, spirited and passionate debate about immigration. It's like every time immigration came up in the news, he was blowing up my phone about it, sending me messages on Instant Messenger. And my friend's a good guy. He is Mexican American. I should know this, but I'm not even sure if he was born in this country. I don't believe he was. Doesn't really make a difference. Okay, I believe he is here legally, but he is of Mexican descent, and so he took it personal during the campaign season of 2016 when the president was running for president. He talked about Mexico sending us their worst people, not people that could really contribute to our society here in the United States, but people that are rapists and, just criminals in general, drug addicts, whatever. And that's what he was saying. And I think that little clip of what he said was amplified by the media, and they put their little spin on it and made it out to mean that the president is saying that all Mexican immigrants are rapists and drug addicts, etc., etc. And that's not what he was saying. The president went on to say that, some of them he believes are probably good people, but those aren't the people that are coming here. That's what he was saying. And that's what got lost in translation. So, of course, my friend being Mexican is very sensitive, and that's understandable, this is his peeps the president is talking about. So he got really angry, and every time immigration came up in the news, he was sending me messages and saying, what do you think about this, and how could you feel that way? Because I would defend the president's policies. So he'd get really angry, and what it all boils down to is I told my friend, you're an anarchist. You don't want the laws enforced. I'm telling you what the laws are, and you're telling me you don't care. You just want these people to come in anyway, and to say that they can't come in because we have laws, then we're automatically racist. No, we have laws. There's procedures. Just follow the procedure to come to this country. I think I'm beginning to repeat myself. I don't want to keep saying the same things over and over again. So that's him. And then I have another friend who's wasn't necessarily debating immigration with me. His vision is very, in my opinion, kind of radical. But the way he proposes it, it makes sense. I mean, I understand where this other friend's coming from. The first friend, the Mexican friend, he's like, okay, I don't want the laws obeyed because they're just not fair. And I'm saying, okay, if the laws aren't fair, then change the laws. Don't break them. But we need to have law and order, okay? And if we decide to do things different, you got to do it correctly, because the next, we can break the laws now, and then the laws can then later be changed to what you want, and then maybe the current administration decides to break the laws that you now approve of. And then there's going to be precedent to do that because, we've done it now. So anyway, this other friend, okay, he is what I would call a globalist. He believes that, and I'm sorry if I'm not interpreting him 100% correctly, but let's just say that I am, just for the sake of argument. He believes that different cultures, different religions, all those things are the things that divide us because we tend not to understand one another when we come from different cultures. So what's his solution? One country, no borders, everybody's the same, everybody thinks alike, therefore we all get along. Okay, that's what it all boils down to. That's what he's saying. He may say it in a convoluted way and it all sounds really nice, but if you break it down, what my friend says, that's what he's saying. And yes, I can appreciate the outcome of what he is proposing. Yes, everybody's getting along, but I don't agree with everybody thinking alike. And if I told them everybody's going to end up thinking alike, he would say, oh, well, that's not what I'm advocating. But that's kind of what happens when everybody has the same background, okay? And I think you have to give the human race a little bit more credit and say that everyone has the ability to, and if it's not innate, they can at least learn to understand other people. If it's not instinctual for them to do so. But I think we should look at people from different cultures and, be a little bit more accepting, or in the very least tolerant. But a lot of people aren't, and that creates a lot of race wars and just confusion. And he doesn't like that, and neither do I. So it's like he and I agree a lot on what the problem is, but his solutions, I think, are very radical. And my solutions to him are unworkable because it's been tried and failed. All right. So, but really, and it sounds kind of controversial in what I'm going to say, but don't automatically brand me a racist like most people do. But I think that most people should stay in their own countries and where they come from. And when they don't, they should, whatever country they come to, they should assimilate. And now people say, oh my God, that is so racist. You're telling people they can't be who they are. I'm not saying that. I think that when you are in your homes, with your friends and family that come from your home country, it makes sense to speak in your native tongue. And if people are around that are not really part of the conversation if they overhear you speaking in Spanish because you and your posse are out in public speaking your language. I don't see anything wrong with that. But what I do see something wrong with is coming to this country like that caravan is doing, okay, and a lot of them don't speak English, okay, and then instead of learning English, a lot of people expect the people here in this country to learn their language, to publish things in their language, to set up phone systems so that when they call in, they can hear it in Spanish. And all these things cost us money, okay? It's not about hating those people. I'm telling those people that want to come to this country, you're welcome here, but follow the laws. And if you're interested in living in America, be interested in being an American, all right? And then you're welcome. I don't care where you're from originally, I just care about you coming here and forcing your culture on me. And what's happening in Europe is they've had such an influx of Muslims from, Arabic countries, and they're losing their culture. I like the idea of going to Italy and eating Italian cuisine and pasta and stuff like that. I like the idea of going to England and hearing people speak with an English accent. I'm afraid now that if I'm to travel to Europe, and go to those countries, I'm not going to recognize where I am. All right. And that's part of the interest in traveling, is not just seeing foreign lands, but seeing foreign people and how they live and what they speak. And if you go to a country and it's all one big melting pot and you can't figure out who's who and what's what fun is that? So that's why I'm saying countries should maintain their cultures, and people that come into their country legally should assimilate, and there should be some control over how many people are allowed into the country. So going back to what I was saying about this caravan, it really, in my opinion, is an invasion. And I was thinking about, how is it that all of these people spontaneously now are deciding to come to the United States? Why now? It would seem that they're being organized by someone, and my gut instinct was that it was someone here in the United States looking to influence the election, because if you have thousands of people coming to the border, the president has already made it clear he is not going to allow it. So if he doesn't allow it and there's thousands of people at the border, we're going to have news stories again where the media is going to make him out to be the bad guy. They're going to start talking about families being separated at the border and kids being put in cages like little birds. Okay, they're going to do that. And these people are making their way to the border, and we're 2 weeks away from the election. That within 2 weeks they're going to be at that border, and there's going to be some type of scandal when they're turned away. And, I thought it must have been one of those leftist donors here in the United States, but now I'm hearing that's actually leftists down in Central or South America that are doing this. And I wouldn't put it past them. They have that same political ideology as the left does here in the United States. And they wouldn't mind trying to influence our election. And that's what's going to happen, because we're going to see people at the border getting hurt, and it's going to really pull at many of our heartstrings, people on the left and right alike, and it's wrong, and it's got to stop. And I don't know what the solution is going to be. I don't understand why these people keep coming. They're not turning away. They're not seeking refuge in Mexico. So they're not getting the message, and I'm wondering why, and what have they been promised to make them want to come, and who's feeding them? It's going to be a disaster. These are people that they're in such close proximity to each other, there's going to be cross-contamination. People are going to pick up each other's germs, and they're going to bring it to our country. And, you know, you may think that I'm like overreacting and I'm making too big a deal or nothing, but we have to consider these things. We can't just wish them away and hope that they don't happen, and therefore it won't. Okay, these people, can come here sick and become a burden on our medical system. Please think about these things. So that's my rant today on immigration, and I hope I have covered everything this time and have been able to do it without offending anybody. And if I've offended you, then I suggest you continue watching more of my videos, and you'll eventually start understanding me a little bit better. So anyway, I want to thank you for listening, and thank you for watching, and for those of you who agree, thank you for that as well. I appreciate your time. That's all we have for today. Thank you.